Hello, welcome back, everyone. Um, what do you guys think? It seems like there's going to be realignment that is on the horizon, and you keep hearing about it. The Big 12 mentions uh, the perspective uh, programs that they would like to add. I've been hearing names. For an example, I made a previous video that discussed suggestions that the Big 12 should add, would be good additions to their conference. Um, and preferably speaking, um, these are my suggestions for uh, expanding that would be a good fit for the Big 12. And as we look at, of course, we understand what's going on with uh, the four corner schools, right? But looking outside of that, right, because the landscape is large, there was in the previous video, there was some suggestions made in regards to the ACC. There's, I believe, four schools, 2 to 4 schools that I believe the Big 12 should add from the ACC um, in relation to the uh, the situation the ACC is in. There are schools there that would like to leave the conference. Florida State and Crimson. I'm sorry, Clemson. We know this. They're demanding a pay increase, and then there's two more other schools that have been in the shuffle of discussions of possibly wanting to leave for the SEC or the Big Ten, respectively. And with that being said, there was some schools that I believe that the um, a that the Big 12 would be able to add to their program. With that being said, now this is looking outside of the uh, Pac-12 with the four corner schools and looking outside of the ACC. And with that being said, this is right along the same direction in which uh, Yarmark has visioned. And one of the schools, I would agree. I disagree with adding Gonzaga uh, because Gonzaga is limited by way of not having a football program. While we know that they have value in basketball, but that's not it doesn't fit the current philosophy of the Big 12. But let's look at it from a whole's perspective. Now, the University of Connecticut is definitely a good addition for the Big 12. Now, I understand they're way on the far northeast, and they are located up there, and it's kind of like in their own island, but it is, far as program wise, it is a good school. Far as academics, I believe, as well as basketball, and their football program can be upgraded or built up. And with that being said, it doesn't make it any worse that they just won another national championship. So they're definitely a good fit just because they have a football program that can be built. That program can be built up. So that is a good plus. Now, UConn would be a good addition. Now, speaking as it relate to, you can easily compare the two if you had an option of having Gonzaga or the University of UConn. University of Connecticut, you would go with UConn because they are a whole athletic program, and you can build on the football program, can be built up. And they were in the Big East initially, and they were a part of a power program. They've always been good in basketball. So clearly they understand what they would need to do in order to be successful. Now, with that being said, there was some mishaps along the way by way of the situation with the AAC and them wanting to leave because they didn't like the direction things were going. So UConn would be a good addition. And as well, now let's look at it. I mentioned in one of my videos that if you look at the other schools that are out there in the group of 5, out of all those programs, I believe that San Diego State is a good option to go into that West Coast time zone as it relates to they have a mediocre basketball and football program, and with more revenue that they could potentially build themselves to be considered competitive in the Big 12. Yes, it would take some work, but once again, that's a solid all-around program. They have all sports, and that's what you want to look at. Now, we don't want to muddy the waters too much by adding or diluting the water by adding too many or group of 5 schools, but that is one. Now, if you look at the other potentials, at one point I was thinking about Boise State, but Boise State is a small market, and while they may have the potential to build their football program, I believe it just probably doesn't fit with the direction of where things are going. But they would also be an option. Now we're talking about in a sense of like a super conference, in other words. So this would obviously be another layer. Now, mind you, there's missing parts with the ACC and, of course, the Four Corner School. And these are just the other 3 programs to look at outside of that, which would be San Diego State, UConn, with UConn being first, of course, and then San Diego State and Boise State. Now, that will be good for the region of the Utah/Colorado area. Adding Boise State would be good for that region, as well as adding San Diego State is not too far from Arizona, so that would be a good fit in correlation with that. Now, these are my suggestions. I'm not going to get into the ACC schools because obviously they are in a lengthy contract that is set to be in play for the next 10 years or so. So that would be a little far-fetched. But at this moment, in addition to the Four Corner Schools, University of Connecticut, potentially San Diego State, and Boise State. Now, how would I overlook the other AAC members? Like, people may mention, oh, how come you didn't mention Memphis? How come you didn't mention University of South Florida? Also, and what about who else they have? SMU. So, for one, I believe that at this moment, while the Big 12 is predominantly a Texas conference, I don't think it need any more Texas schools in the conference. And not to say that they don't need it. It just SMU probably, while I like SMU, I just don't think that it would get things to where it needs to be. So with that being said, and then Memphis, while they are very competitive in basketball, for some reason it just seems like they haven't really been in the rankings lately on both ends, kind of like staying relevant, even though that's what um, that is what is noted with Memphis. You know, they haven't really been relevant consistently in the rankings for whereas it football and basketball. Now, to note, in addition to the four corner schools, those three programs, which are all sports, all sports in, are, I believe, would be good additions to the Big 12 on its journey on becoming a super conference. You know, we're talking about the 20 team conference, the 20 team conference. You know, there's a lot of different avenues to get to 20, but, you know, that is just something that is worth noting uh, in relation to expanding. So, University of Connecticut, San Diego State, as well as Boise State as the wild card. Thank y'all once again for watching. Brought to you by Global News Sports. Thank y'all and have a great day. And don't forget to comment as well as share and like. Thank y'all. Have a great day.